How are these buildings, whether mystical ruins deep in the forest, or a building standing strong almost 250 years after it was built, connected to a man with no schooling, trained only as a barber and wig maker, yet who went on to patent a machine that changed the course of history? This time our journey leads to two very different cotton mills. One, the mystical ruins hidden deep in the Lumsdale Valley. The other, loud and still functional, filled with the sounds of machinery at work. Both cotton mills were based on Sir Richard Arkwright's water-powered cotton spinning machine patent from 1769 called the water frame. This harnessed the power of water to spin cotton for the first time on an industrial scale. It was one of the most pivotal inventions of the Industrial Revolution because it transformed cotton production from a small cottage industry into factory-based manufacturing. And today, both form part of the Derwent Valley Mills UNESCO World Heritage Site in the United Kingdom. This valley witnessed the birth of the factory system, with new buildings designed to house Arkwright's revolutionary cotton spinning technology. Masson Mill was built by Sir Richard Arkwright in 1783 on the River Derwent. It functioned as a commercial cotton spinning mill until 1991, and today it is home to a working textile museum. Our journey here begins at the visitor center. We clock in with our ticket, just as factory workers once did to our little explorer's joy. A wonderful idea, marking the first step in our journey into the past. In the visitor center is a wonderful selection of historic textile items made in the museum, like yarns and woven cloth produced on 1864 Lancashire, 1894 Yorkshire, and 1978 Sour looms. Afterwards, the real-time traveling begins. As we step inside the factory itself, we learn that Richard Arkwright's invention led to the start of the factory system. Since his machines were not used in people's homes, but had a special building built for them, a mill or a factory, the power of the water wheel could work a large number of machines in one huge building. Vast amounts of cotton thread could be produced very cheaply. The work was demanding, but for many families it provided more stability than agricultural labor. Visitors can hear in one room just how loud the machines were during the 12 to 16-hour shifts. The machines could be operated by unskilled women and children. Workers had few rights or protections, since labor laws and safety regulations did not yet exist. Employers demanded strict discipline, and missing work could mean losing a job entirely. Children employed in textile mills were especially vulnerable, where their small size was exploited to crawl under machines. It took long years of struggle, reform, and legislation before labor conditions became safer and more humane. With regard to the invention, even 2 centuries later, machines based on its principles continued to produce piping cord, spin cotton thread, and weave vast quantities of cotton fabric. The materials on display in the visitor center are also produced here. You can also find demonstrations showing how raw cotton was processed into yarn and woven fabric. Cotton was packed tightly into large bales after harvesting. Machines opened the bales and loosened the fibers. Dust, seeds, and impurities were removed. Fibers were combed and aligned into a web-like sheet, which was condensed into a sliver, a soft rope-like strand of parallel fibers. Machines then twisted the fibers further and further, giving them strength, until they became yarn. Finally, weaving looms completed the process, turning yarn into finished cloth. In the UK, coding entered the weaving process through the revolutionary Jacquard loom in the 19th century. Joseph Marie Jacquard's invention allowed weavers to produce intricate designs automatically, instead of lifting warp threads row by row. Punch cards encoded instructions for when threads should be raised or lowered, laying the foundations for modern computing. Our journey at Masson Mills has come to an end, yet the story is not finished. Our final stop is Lumsdale Valley, where the ruins of a cotton mill, built by another firm 2 years after Masson Mills, mark the era that followed the expiration of Arkwright's patent protection. This was built as a 3-story water-powered cotton mill using Arkwright's technology. However, the firm was bankrupt by 1813, and the mill was acquired by John Garton for bleaching textiles. The cotton bleaching business continued until 1929. Today, the water-powered industrial landscape is a site of national, archaeological, and historic importance. The valley is also under the care of the Arkwright Society, a charity devoted to the preservation and rescue of Britain's industrial heritage buildings. Overgrown ruins of former mills stand beside the cascading Lumsdale Falls, which tumble through a wooded valley, creating one of the most atmospheric landscapes in the region. The Lumsdale Valley Trail offers visitors both history and nature, with paths and gentle climbs suitable for active adults, as well as families with toddlers. Pure joy for our little one as well. Now we've reached the top of the valley and the end of our video too. Thank you for being with us. Don't forget to subscribe for more adventures.